Wheels spinning and engines roaring, a Tyler church says it's looking to bring a community together through motorcycles. East Texas News Weekend's Michael Richardson reports on Biker Sunday at Greater St. Mary Baptist Church.
After revving their engines to drive to Greater St. Mary Baptist Church, more than 24 bikers attended worship, then came out to speak with vendors, grab a bite to eat, or talk to one another.
You have people to come out, socialize, fellowship with the church. It's not about the pastor, it's not about actually the motorcycle world. It's just getting together as humans, as people, and socialize together in church.
This is the third time the Tyler Church has held Biker Sunday. They held 2 last year. Pastor Ralph Caraway Jr. says the event has grown with a goal of increasing outreach.
And so what we're trying to do is expand Christ. And everybody's not going to have a sanctuary experience, but if we can go reach those people where they are, and then we can teach them Christ and bring them in to the fold of kingdom building and kingdom work, I think that's the ultimate goal.
The event is about fellowship and faith.
Not all about just riding the bikes. We also want to give praise and honor to God.
Michael Richardson, East Texas News Weekend.
There were prizes at the event for folks with the best 3-wheel, sport bike, and best cruiser or chopper.